Awesome, awesome. So, thanks very much, Wahid. Happy to be here. Again, I don't think I need to introduce myself. You guys know me, and we're gonna get a bit later about some of deeper into my personal brand, so you can understand more like a practical example of this session. So, it's great to be here because this is one of my favorite subjects, personal branding, and it's very important nowadays. I'm curious to know, can you write in the comments if you already have a personal brand, if you're building a personal brand, or you think it's something you're trying to build, and for people who thinks it's not super important, I'm always also curious to see in the comments. Can you just write down so I have some insight? So. In some industry, yeah, I like that. That's true. It sounds like for some people it's more important than the other people, but we will get to uh, difficult to make. Okay, okay. Hopefully after today, I will convince you it's not that difficult. So I guess my job in these sessions and a lot of my lectures is more like to try to, I wouldn't say convince you, but explain to you why personal branding is a very important for every person. It's not only if you're a marketer, it's not only if you're in technology, it's not only if you're a job. Whether you want to, let's say, get a job, so you need to be active on LinkedIn, whether you already have a good job, but you want to get a better position somewhere else, whether you're right, like you like to write and share, let's say, your ideas, having a blog, that's also personal branding, right? Or whether something like even me personally, I'm an activist, right? So like a lot of what I do is I like to influence and make change. And if I want to influence people, I need to speak their language. And currently, in this era, people language are social media. People language are online communication. So building a personal brand for me and sharing, being there on different platforms, it's not only about like getting a job, or it's about like because I'm someone who likes to speak up. It's more about I care to translate my ideas into a format that people can understand, and which can influence them. Now, when we say a personal brand, we're saying personal and brand. So personal means it's you. It means how you see yourself, your values, your personality, your style. And then when we talk about brand, it means it's an identity, how other people see you. And personal brand is really almost like the same as like when we're talking about a company brand, or like a corporate brand, an organization brand, because eventually a company brand is a logo, is an identity, is a headline, is a slogan. It's their colors, it's their messaging, right? Same thing for us individuals. When we talk about personal, it's all of that, just about you. Okay, so um, I for me, I kind of like, because I'm generally active, but I think I believe everyone should be also active. So I usually have, let's say, three different categories in my personal brand. So I have, as you see on the left, this is my signature, and I use this more in my emails, my personal things. Sometimes in my vlogs, I have a YouTube channel where I do sometimes vlogs, and that's like very personal. So I use my signature, as you can see, as like my like very personal category of my personal brand. Now I have something called Abdullah and Beyond, and this is more like my business side of Abdullah. So this is where I do a lot of my consulting work for my clients, and sometimes I do content around that. And then I have Al Qayyim. That's anything. That's my kind of like activism, social innovation content I create regularly in Arabic specifically. So this has like a Facebook page, Instagram, and some other channels where I produce like content in Arabic. So that's I would say another, but all of them together, they are in a way consistent, and they're the way represent who is Abdullah, and then I'll get into that in a bit, so you can understand exactly how I operate. Um, so. Um, so this is some of the things I'm active on, and I like this actual presentation I was preparing. It reminded me of some of the channels and things on the internet I haven't touched for a long time. But you see, these are some of the things we're gonna explore a bit later today together. Okay, so how do you? The question is how. Okay, we know now it's important, and some people are saying here on the chat it's difficult. So how can we build our personal brand? So just let me go here. Okay. Yeah. So it always starts with you, self-awareness, knowing yourself, and this is something usually overlooked by people. They want to get results, so when they say like I want to have a personal brand and online presence is because I want to get a better job, or I want to network with more people, or I want to influence people. They That's like right away jumping into results. Like it's always starts with us knowing what's our personality. So am I someone who are very curious? Am I someone who's more on the creative side? Am I someone who's like more an entrepreneur kind of like type of people? I am someone who's more an analytical, right? So it's important to know that. What's my values? Is integrity something super, super important for me? Um, is kindness is something kindness speak myself is like kindness something very important highlight for me. Spirituality something very important for me. So it's important to know our personality and values. And then what's our vision? Vision is more like the long term. So we all have our aspiration, and we want to somebody wants to eventually become a good doctor, somebody wants to become an entrepreneur, somebody wants to become very good at a manager in their own, let's say, industry or area. So these are all, let's say, what do we aspire to, what's our vision. And then what's it's also very important part in knowing ourselves is knowing our short-term goals. So if you move to Canada recently, and you're trying to, let's say, you're shifting career, from you were doing something different in your home country and now you're doing something different. So getting a job in Canada as a start, that's a short-term goal, right? Getting like maybe your permanent residency, maybe trying to build the networks in certain city, that's all like a short-term, right? So it's important to know what's our priority, like upcoming short-term. And this is all you're gonna get why it's so important just later when we give more like practical examples about my brand, and then other people. The second thing, very very important to determine, is what are the current trends. What is what's happening in the market? What are the current trends? So, for example, which digital channels are the focus? So, Snapchat, for example, used to be something people, before Instagram stories and Instagram became more common. Snapchat was more famous, and people used to use Snapchat for their personal brand, for advertising, for personal communication with family and friends. Now, it's not one of the main focus, right, channels. So it's important to know where's people attentions nowadays. Currently LinkedIn, obviously, like when we talk about the business world, job search, and like getting your voice out there, of course, networking, LinkedIn is very important. A lot of people use Facebook I use Facebook for business, and I use it for my activism and my social change, things. I like some people use maybe I know some companies use, for example, even Reddit. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. Reddit, although it's a very question and answer kind of platform, but a lot of business use it to analyze. So Reddit is also one of the very important, for example, platform. So it's important to know what is currently happening, what's the trends currently, right? And is there any major theme happening in the world? So like coronavirus, obviously is a major circumstance or like a theme currently happening in the world. So it's important to know when the World Cup comes, for example, that's another theme where people attention is going towards something specific. So when we say coronavirus is the theme, what does that mean for my personal brand? That means like if your personal brand, part of it was like online and part of it was offline. Now, because coronavirus is everything digitized and online, that means all your personal brand focus should be online, because the theme of coronavirus is making everything online. Same goes with if you're someone who a lot of the content or a lot of the people you like to connect with are around things that is not super relevant to people needs during corona. What people are currently during coronavirus, they're looking for, there's a big unemployment, so people attention are going to find jobs, groceries, retail, these things where people are trying, like to find ways to not go outside the house. And so it's important to know where's people current needs are and adjust. So like if I'm someone with a lot of my content and the type of community and channel and things I like to build online that surrounds around something that's a little bit nowadays over not very important because of coronavirus, then I should pause that or I should shift my focus into something more related to the current theme. And it's important to know, I would say, just like a startup, a lot of you were in my session for building an app, and we talked about Agile, and we talked about uh, how a startup is all about like planning, creating, launching, and then optimizing, getting feedback. That's like how Agile works. And same thing for your personal brand. It's what you sit and you discover, you know about yourself, you know what's your values, let's say your vision, your short term. That's the planning part. Then the creating part is like when you sign up on LinkedIn and you build your profile, you build your Facebook, you do keywords around your website. All that is the creating part. Launching is putting it outside, right? And then optimizing and feedback is like putting it out there and see, like you're gonna hear comments from people saying like, oh, I saw this on your profile, that doesn't make sense. Somebody else will tell you, I love this post you did. Somebody will tell you, oh, this logo, it doesn't look like it represents your personality. So all these, when we create and launch our brands out there, people are going people are going to give us feedback directly and indirectly, and we can also ask for feedback so we can optimize. So it's always an iteration. You have to plan, create in a very fast way, and not don't think about it as like I am this and this is all my life is going to be just this profile or this brand, right? It's all about optimizing, just like startups. Exactly. Okay. Let me see. I don't know. Display. Yeah, I see. So um, now let's go into more practical steps after we finish with the planning and we figure out things about ourselves. What do present us? Who am I exactly? Um, uh, Practically, you would, and these are like tips that is very, let's say, there's like thousands of content, videos, and tactics. You can Google it, you can read on YouTube. There's articles, videos of people giving you tactics on each platform. Facebook needs this, LinkedIn needs this, right? But in this page, these are, I would say, things that is most common across all the platforms, all the channels you're going to use. And it's very important to start with it at least. So you have to have a headline. So a headline is something you use on your LinkedIn. You see under your name, right? It's your website, your slogan, for example, under your website. It's on your Instagram, the bio on your Instagram under your picture. Most of the online channels, they will give you a place to put a headline or a tagline under, let's say, your name and a picture. And usually, just to make it easy, choose three words that like represent you. And I think it's better for me to share. Wahid, can I share my screen to show them examples while I'm explaining each point? Okay, so this is good, right? Like this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So For example, let's go on my profile LinkedIn, and I'll show you what I mean by 3 words. By the way, what you see here is something I change every couple of months, and this depends on, again, going back to what I said before, my short-term goals, my vision. I know exactly where I'm heading. I know exactly what I want on the long term, but on the short term, my jobs change, the city I am in change, right? So this all, a lot of what you see here is changing, depends on my short-term goals. So here, building, exploring, connecting. These 3 words represent me very well. I like to build things. I like to explore. This is my curious part. It comes from my curiosity. And I like to connect with people and connect things. So 3 of them represent my personality, my values, and also what I do. And each one of us, if we sit and reflect and just like give it a pause, we can find, there's people who just write maybe like 2 words, digital poet. I saw this the other day. Somebody, I think he's an engineer who writes code. So it's a very nice way, a creative way. Instead of he just write like I'm a programmer, he just written down digital poet. It's a really beautiful, right, way. So we all have different personalities. We all have different goals. So like we can figure out this. So let's go back. And I'm wondering like how, okay, let me just use this, I think. Can you see the screen again? I'm just gonna use this, right? I think that's better, right? And instead of going to the Blackboard screen.
Yes, you can do that, or either I can share the Blackboard, but yeah.
Okay, so then you write a bio. And by the way, this I'm giving you an example of my LinkedIn, but this writing a headline bio, it's for all the channels. Most of the channels out there, you need a bio, you need a headline, and you need the other things I'm going to mention here. So you start with what I said here, but like knowing yourself and writing down all these things about you, and then starting with the current trends and market, what channels you should sign up on and all that, and then you go here. So writing a bio, that's just an overview or a pitch or a description, and not pitch maybe is a word to, it sounds like if you're in sales or marketing. It could be just a description about who you are. You don't even have to mention the company you're working with. So this is what a bio is. Ideally, it's like who you are, what you're currently doing, what's your vision, what's your interest and capabilities. So if you speak multiple languages, you would put that in your bio. If you have a master's and a bachelor in something, you would put that. That's your capabilities, right? And then your vision, aspiring to be a medical professional in 1, 2, 3, right? So and for me, like this is, if you go on my LinkedIn, you can see that this is my. It's very short. When you read it, you will understand that a lot of it here represents me. I've always been this person, and so, and actually, you know what? I think it would be Wahid, do you think, because I really like your profile on LinkedIn, do you think later I can use it as an example? Because I think your profile is really, really well written, and your personal brand is well. Do you mind if I use it as an example for some things? Or
Of course.
awesome, awesome.
Yeah, of course.
So for other examples, I'll go to use Wahid, so you can have different examples. So now, after you determine, you have your headline, you have your bio, your overview, you know yourself and all that, then you would start signing up for channels that fits your personality and goals. And again here, knowing the attention and what's the trends. If LinkedIn and for example, TikTok is obviously for people who are younger than our generations, and I mean, a lot of businesses use it, and I know people who are entrepreneurs use TikTok, but generally it's not, I would say, a main channel for people like in our age. I would say someone in 20s or 30s, or like 40s. So but TikTok is a very important channel now, and it's important to know LinkedIn is obviously number one. Having a blog or a website is also a very, very important thing. So signing up and creating a channel. So each channel has its own audience, tactics, style, and needs. And this is when we get deeper. So for Instagram, Instagram is different from Facebook. Instagram is more of visual content. So we're talking about images mainly, not even videos. Instagram is very pro images. So if you're someone who you're not comfortable with, like maybe creativity or not even creativity, let's say if you're someone who don't like to post pictures, you're more like somebody who like to write, then Instagram is not for you. So that's where this comes important, knowing just not what the trends and where people focus, but also knowing how each channel has different rules and taxes for each one. Facebook is for everything, both, but I find usually, for example, if you're someone who likes to write short things and you just like to, let's say, only focus on the business and corporate and just like the industry world, then Twitter, for example, would be something appealing for you. So LinkedIn is a must-have, as I said. I think everyone on all the industry, whether they was a doctor or whether they're like a researcher or whether they're working in administration, entrepreneur, LinkedIn is important. Website, having a website blog, I don't want to say it's also a must-have, but for some industries, for people to have their own websites, a must-have. But I would say generally, most of us should be looking to create a website or a blog, and this is very easy. There's things like Squarespace. You can even create for free, like add a drop like website builder. You can use Wix for free. You can use not Canva. There's a couple. You can just always do Wix versus WordPress. You can do it for free. Shopify, Weebly is another platform that allow you to create a blog or a website for free with the add drop. Very easy. Anyone can do. You don't have to be an engineer or anything. So okay, let's go back here now. Again, just on this point here, so knowing the trend, knowing what each tactics for each platform, also knowing what industry you're in. So if you're someone who's in technology, or you're an engineer, programmer, analyst, like maybe programmer, analyst, somebody is aspiring to work in the technology, learn about technology, build networks around technology, then I would say GitHub is very important, because GitHub, most of programmers, they have a GitHub account and they put their code there. So it's important to know in my industry what channels is important. Flickr, I use Flickr because I do photography. So Flickr is like use Instagram, but it's more like for portfolio. Like if you do designs, if you're a graphic designer, if you're a photographer, you would put pictures and videos there. AngelList is for people who are active in a startup. They want to work with a startup, or they want to build a startup, or they're already in the startup world. I would say AngelList is one of the really important channels and websites for this. So I hope that it's simple, but at the same time, it's a lot of things, moving parts. So I hope everything I'm saying is making sense, and I think by the end you will probably get an image about everything when we give examples about other people like Wahid and some other people. So let's go to next. So some important tips. Consistency. Consistency is something that I've seen so many people who have the skills, the passion, the capabilities to build a good personal brand, but because of inconsistency, that it doesn't work for them. So consistency means like because it starts all from you. What's your vision? Who am I? You have to have that integrity in all the different platforms. So for me, let's go to my Instagram, for example. I will show you. Although my headline in my Instagram is different from my LinkedIn, but they still represent in a way the same Abdullah. So as you can see here, it says open-minded activist, enthusiastic innovator, and spontaneous idealist. Because innovate, if you go on my LinkedIn, you will and search for word innovation, you will see innovation in so many projects and different things I did. Activist is something I've talked about. It represents me, right? Abdullah from the heart. I'm an activist, right? So as you see, my LinkedIn and Instagram is in a way kind of like has consistency, although I'm using a bit different words there. And obviously, if you want to go really hard on this, is like if you're gonna choose one picture, make that picture the same for your Facebook, LinkedIn, and your website, maybe your website logo. If I'm only focusing on my, if my focus is my consulting business, so then you probably even on my Instagram I will put that as a picture, and then I think you get the idea. Consistency is very important. And just let's see here if there's a, I'm not sure how, yeah, there's a person. Okay, I see. Just want to check if there was any comments or questions. So second tip, very, very important, is sharing content and engaging. So, and that's the part where we're going to get into how much you're comfortable being out there in public and online. And in this, what I notice, because I do this a lot and I work with a lot of people who do this, some people think if you are an introvert, for example, you're not extrovert, you're someone who don't like to talk, you don't need really to have like an active Facebook account and LinkedIn and comment on people or write things or, you know, like have headline and all that. That's not true, because in a way, if you are an introvert, you should be someone who is even more active online, because people, I'm an extrovert. I like to be sitting with people face to face and talking to them all the time. I don't like sitting behind the PC and checking my LinkedIn and writing things down. So I feel even because I talk to sometimes my friends and they're like, I'm not extrovert like you. I don't want to be active. I don't want to have a personal brand. It's not about being extrovert or introvert. This is a must for all of us. If you want to make change, if you want to get a better job, if you want to build a network, if you want to, you know, whatever your goal in this era of time, digital personal branding is super, super important. And again, it doesn't have to be if you're introvert or extrovert. All of us can sit behind the computer and just like share or like figure out who are we, our vision and our values, and translate this in a way that represent us, right? And then the third one is do not overthinking, and this is very important because a lot of people, when I said it's like agile, you have to launch in a fast way, like think about it, launch, write down, and optimize, get feedback. They overthink what people going to think about my headline, my bio, if the manager from this company going to see, if on LinkedIn my colleagues going to see my content, if I post this, the recruiter going to not like it. These are all things in our head, but in reality, each one of us, every human in the world, have their own insecurities and have their own worries about how people, whether if someone is a recruiter, they're also worried about how other recruiters or their manager, or like their people, candidates who's they're going to hire them, how they're going to see them. If you're a job seeker, you're also worried about that. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to worry about so all of us are worried about this, and in reality, no one really care, because everyone is worrying. So, and everyone is really, so the key to that is like not to overthink it and be yourself. And this is what, let me give you an example about somebody you might know called Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek, let's see, there's comments here. Yeah, so Simon Sinek is very, he's a guy, by the way, Simon Sinek is an introvert. He's a very introvert, and he's someone who's quiet. Yes, he do public speaking, but if you watch him, if you watch a lot of his stuff, he always say, I'm an introvert. So Simon Sinek, let's say he has a website. This is part of his personal brand, right? And let's see, he has Twitter, and then he has LinkedIn. Let's see something, Facebook, okay. So let's go to Simon Sinek. Okay, Simon Sinek, as you like, if you just notice here, if you observe, a lot of his website is very simple and clear, right? That kind of represents positivity. When you see somebody putting a lot of plain white and very simple like font and all of that, that means that person, one of their values or personality, their style is simplicity and elegance, I would say, again. And also, I think looking at this page I just opened, I see a lot of blue. There was a picture, yeah. You see there's a lot of blue. Um, yeah, you see his background. He's on Twitter. This is again consistency. You see how blue is in his website, a lot of blue, and also in his profile picture on Twitter. You see how consistency is important. Let's go to his website. Exactly. His cover photo is blue, right? You see a lot of his content are um, purple, blue. Um, so why? Because blue is a color that convey calmness and optimism, right, and elegance. So for Simon, I can tell right away. Before he did all of that, he just know that he's someone who's optimism is one of his main values. He knows that simplicity is something that represents him. And if we go for another either or speaker or like somebody like Simon Sinek, we can find that they have very different colors. They have very different website. They might have a lot of boxes in their website. That tell us that they're not simple, but they're people who like details. So like maybe detail oriented. They are people who are detail oriented. So you see, it's all starts from knowing yourself, what's your style, what's your personality. And if you look at most of people out there, who are successfully have good personal brand. But even let's go for someone who you know very well, like Wahid. So let's go, Wahid. Let's look at your profile. Wahid is like I think he has very professional. So let's try to analyze Wahid together, like quickly. So you see here he has a headline, and I can see here that professional is it sounds like he's wearing like a suit, and I see the word professional here, and I see his cover photo. It says the quote, "It always seems impossible until it's done." That for me tell me that his personal brand is a lot about professionalism, work ethic. He's someone who appreciates working hard, and that's him. There's other people who put maybe a cat in their cover photo, like an ocean. For other people, maybe having like a very relaxed lifestyle is who represent them, right? But as you can see, each one of us are different, and that's why it's so important to be yourself and be very consistent in when talking about personal branding. So Wahid, we see business administration. Okay, let's go. Wahid also has a bio, amazing, short, and I think it's straight to the point. As you can see, Wahid is someone I know that I don't think Wahid posts a lot of content. If you go on there on your activity, Wahid, I don't think you're someone who comments a lot and posts a lot of content, but anyone can go to your profile, can see that you have put great information out there. And this is a good example of you don't have to post content to build a personal brand. You can just build a good profile, and we all have done volunteering. We've all speak different languages. We all have done different things. So it's all about putting it out there, right? And as I said, not overthinking it. So I will tell you why consistency. I think let me play with this. So if I write on Wahid the word admin, okay, and I just I press Control Find to find cards on this page. I'm using this Google Chrome tool. So when I write admin, there is as you can see, there's a 12 admin words on Wahid profile. What does that tell us in his personal brand? That tell us that you can see he's using it in his job description for some positions. He's using it in some of his certificates, and he's using it in his headline. That means Wahid, part of his vision or his goals, I don't know, short term or long term, is he likes admin work or he's seeking admin work. And this is why it's so important. So because Wahid knows administration is an area that maybe he's good at, or he wants to work in, or he's capable of, he's using that in multiple places. In his bio, and of course, I'm sure like Wahid can even do a better job. Like if somebody take Wahid's profile, if someone is like, they call them these executive, not coaches, executive personal brand coaches who help you optimize. If they work with Wahid for a while, we might, if I write down administration, I might see like 20 different, even a lot more admin words in Wahid profile. So this is great. I think I'm also thinking that HR, if I put it in find, I think I'm also going to see a lot of HR stuff for Wahid here. So this is our, I heard the great profile, yes, great profile. So as you see, each one of us is different. So it's important to know ourselves, and then depending on your personality, if you're someone who likes to write more, write. If you're someone who likes to speak or make videos, make video content, maybe focus on YouTube. So it's all about you. It's not about what other people are doing in this industry. It's important to take ideas, and this is my advice actually for a lot of people who are seeing this as difficult or starting out. When you're starting out, and if you know what industry and what things you want to pursue, or what's your personalities around, find 4 or 5 people who are not like Sam was saying, very famous. People who are like me, Wahid, and people who are like, just like each one of us, right? Who has like kind of like good profile on their LinkedIn, YouTube, website, whatever their personal brand, and take ideas from them. So find 4 or 5 people, search on Google 4 or 5 people in your similar like industry, in your similar personality, in your around similar interests, the community you want to build, the networks you want to build, and look at their profile and take ideas from them. That's in the beginning. Now with time, the agile way, once you optimize it more and get feedback from people, then you're gonna have very, very unique like profile that represent you. But for the beginning, don't overthink it a lot. Find 4 or 5 people, different people, take ideas from them. Don't think a lot about what's the recruiter, what's the entrepreneur, who is going to see that. You know, just be yourself. And I'm telling you now, there's so much redundant content out there nowadays. So people who successfully build a good personal brand are the people who are being unique, being themselves. If you ask people on LinkedIn who, let's say, post a lot of things and they have good engagement, they would tell you a main theme among all these people, they post things that represent their main vision, their main values. So it might sound like, yes, be yourself in personal branding is like a cliche advice, but honestly, this is what differentiates successful people who build a good brand and do good networking and build a community from people who just trying to, you know, like afraid to create or afraid to build and afraid to do things. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much. And let's hear if you guys have some interesting questions. Fahim, your question, how to create a personal website. I'm not sure. I don't know if you were, but you remember when I was showing you some tools like Wix, Squarespace, Weebly is another platform for free. WordPress is something you can for free. And you can always, what you do is like, on Weebly, WordPress, all these, they give you a free, so Abdullah, for example, .weebly.com. But if you want to have your own version, you just buy a domain for $20. And then you link that to your Weebly, and then, or like your Wix or whatever, and then you have your own domain. You're welcome. So how much role does social skills play to build? Okay, good question. So how much does social skills? I guess we are all humans, and we are, in a way, we are social. I mean, we are social. That's how we build, right? So the short answer is we all capable of having a good personal brand without having an amazing social skills. But definitely, people who are very emotionally intelligent, or people who are very good into, I would say, knowing themselves, people who have very high self-awareness, which is in a way, it's a sign of for good emotional intelligence. If you have very good self-awareness, you know what's your style, what represents you, what's your values. That's very helpful for you to. That's part of, I would say, social skills. So that's help you. And I would say the other thing is if you are open, curious about other people. So if you're curious about that curiosity will help you when you're writing a website or posting a content and you don't see engagement, or then that curiosity will take you to, let me ask people, let me ask some friends, or let me send take feedback about this. Why, for example, I'm not getting good feedback about this? So I would say it's more like not the social skills as like you're someone who's good in public speaking, because again, you could be doing videos as a public speaking, and you could be writing posts, which doesn't require any writing a blog or article doesn't require any social public speaking skills. But I would say if we go back, as we are all humans, then if we ask ourselves, I think we're all curious people. We're born to be curious, and we're all people who should be putting a lot of effort to know ourselves, our goals. So in a way, honestly, when somebody asks me, does it social skills, emotional intelligence, I would say it helps. It makes you like, but in a way, we are all like this, right? So if there, what about YouTube channel? Can we start with anything? I'm not sure what do you mean by start with anything. Is there are more views in YouTube channel? Does it air more? Yeah, of course. So for these kind of questions, so because it's very YouTube specific, that takes like a whole different session. But I'm telling you, there's thousands of videos and articles that if you just write starting a YouTube channel tips as a keyword on Google, you will find thousands of different videos that talks about this. So yeah, it's very easy to find, because that takes a whole different session just to talk about. Can you suggest some blogs where we can express our views, opinions, and writing so that it reaches more people? So yeah, currently for organic reach and in the personal branding goal or online marketing, when you say organic, it means you don't have to pay ads or pay money to get reach out there. I would say LinkedIn, putting hashtags for your post or your profile on LinkedIn is useful. It gives you some organic reach, even if people are not liking and commenting on your post or whatever you put there. It means that people are seeing. So LinkedIn has good organic views, at least, if not like comments and likes. I would say also Quora. I personally very active. So if you go on my Quora profile, and I put the link there somewhere on the first slides in my presentation, you will see that I'm active there. Not always, but Quora is a platform for me where I can share my personal. I think Quora is a really good start for people who wants to talk about business, who wants to talk about immigration, whatever it is, and they don't have a lot of followers on other platforms. Awesome. So yeah, it's learning, and it's also car is great for learning, but also if you want to do things around immigration, like work in immigration or build a community around immigration in Canada, then you can find a lot of questions around immigration, and then start like putting answers there, and then with time, people are gonna follow you on Quora, and you will build in a way a personal brand on Quora. Does EQ, like IQ, play a important role in personal branding and getting more views from employers? So I, again, it is in a way, but I don't think it's a core factor. I think we're all, as humans, we're born with great IQ and EQ. It just I mean, this is a very philosophical way to look at it, but we're all capable of that. It just through time, some of us lose these EQ skills because of the way our parenting, the society, the current world themes, all that. So it does play. EQ does for sure plays, but I would say I've seen people who are like Simon Sinek, who are introvert, and like they're not people who are like super good communicator, but they have millions of views on their articles, and or even they post a lot of pictures. They like to design pictures, and they post it on Pinterest or any other channels. So it's all about knowing. If you're more creative, create pictures. If you're more a speaker, make maybe videos. If you're more like a writer, write content, right? We all have one of them, and then that's where you have to focus on. Awesome. So yeah, I hope that you guys I learned some insights and some things, and always happy to share some information with you and hopefully help and inspire some.
Thank you very much, Abdullah. Is there any other question? Do you have any other question from Abdullah regarding today's session, personal branding? I think there is one question, Abdullah. How can we check the level of personal branding effectiveness?
Yeah, just give me a second. I would just so let me close this. So how can we check the level of personal branding effectiveness? Main thing is feedback. Remember, I mentioned optimizing and getting feedback from people. So what I do sometimes personally is like some of my posts or like my website, I would take a screenshot, and then for my friends who I feel they could give me a good input, I would send them that screenshot and ask them like, can you tell me what do you think of this? And then getting a lot of feedback about different things you're doing, your website, your content, from different people, I would say that's a good indication about the effectiveness of your personal brand.